You ever wake up to a threat so bold, so downright arrogant, that you almost have to laugh? That's how my morning started, standing at the gate to my ranch boots in the dew, holding a notice slapped on with red tape. Pack your things and get off this land in 72 hours, or we'll have you dragged off. Stamped official signed by Diane Wilburn, the queen bee of the HOA, acting like she ran all of Willow Creek and maybe half the county besides. She watched from her little golf cart across the field, arms folded, just waiting for me to lose my mind, maybe cry, maybe start packing. Thing is, Diane didn't know I'd closed a deal on her precious clubhouse lease 3 days before. I took a long sip of coffee, set it down, pulled out my phone, and called my lawyer. Let's triple the rent. He asked if I really wanted to go nuclear. They gave me 72 hours to leave my own ranch. Now I'm giving them 30 days to pay up or get out. I hung up and walked back inside, not even glancing her way. Here's the thing, sometimes it pays to play it quiet, and sometimes you gotta make noise. The Willow Creek Lakeside HOA thought they could squeeze me out of land that's been in my family for generations, but I'd been playing my own game. Their swimming pool, tennis courts, even their precious parking lot. All of it sat on a chunk of land I'd quietly bought through a holding company with not a whisper to my name attached. I'd kept my cards close for months, waiting for the perfect moment to flip the script. But let me back up a sec, because this wasn't just about land, it was about pride, about standing your ground and not letting bullies with clipboards and cheap power walks push you around. I'm Matt Blake. Most folks just call me Matt. I inherited Blake Ranch from my granddad, George Blake, a stubborn, smart old Texan who could outlast a drought and outbluff any man at poker. I'm not fancy. Most days I wear the same faded jeans, drive a truck so rusty it might as well be part of the landscape, and spend my mornings feeding cows and fixing whatever the wind or time broke overnight. I'm not a fighter by nature, but I won't be pushed. And Diane Wilburn. She's the exact kind of person who can't help but push. Diane showed up about 5 years back, fresh from a corporate life, and made the HOA her own little empire. Citations for brown grass, fines for trash cans an inch out of line, tickets for parking too close to the curb. She didn't just enforce the rules, she invented new ones. She had her own army too. Board members like Aaron Mills, always taking notes, always nodding along, and a few loyal residents who'd sell out their own kin for a pat on the head. But I had my people. My neighbor Ricky Dawson, a single dad, a mechanic, a guy who always knows what's going on and never lets things slide when they smell wrong. After I helped him out with a busted pipe one winter, we stuck together like glue. And my granddad, well, he's been gone 6 years, but his advice still rings in my head. Don't ever let anyone take your pride. I should have paid more attention to that. Trouble started brewing about 2 months ago. I started noticing more strangers at my fence line. HOA board members taking photos, neighbors I'd never met walking their dogs a little too close. Ricky caught wind that Diane was trying to lay claim to part of my ranch, said it was community reserve land. Pure fantasy. I checked every deed, every survey. My ownership was solid as limestone. But Diane wasn't interested in truth, just in persistence. First, I got a letter saying my livestock shelters were too close to a nature buffer zone. Next, a fine for my ranch gate being the wrong color black iron instead of brown wood. Then another fine. Then the eviction notice. All in the space of a few weeks. They wanted to grind me down, make me leave quietly. So I made my move. I'd heard rumors the land under the HOA clubhouse was up for sale. Through a friend, I set up a holding company and bought it in cash. No one knew it was me. I waited. Then just 3 days before Diane taped that eviction notice to my gate, the deed became mine. Their clubhouse lease was expiring in a month, and I was the new landlord. That's when I called my lawyer, told him to draft a new lease with the rent tripled. But I didn't send it yet. I wanted Diane to stew in her little victory. She strutted down my driveway the next morning, clipboard in hand, flanked by her 2 favorite board members. Mr. Blake, you've been served. You now have 71 hours. The board has unanimously agreed your property violates HOA expansion code. You're a liability. I just wiped my hands on my jeans, gave her a nod. Appreciate the update, I said, smiling. She looked almost offended by my calmness. You don't seem concerned, she snapped. Oh, I'm concerned, I replied. Just not about what you think. That afternoon, I hand-delivered the new lease to the HOA office. 30 days to pay the new rent or move out. Diane didn't see it until the next morning, and then everything hit the fan. She called an emergency board meeting. The HOA newsletter went silent. Facebook exploded with rumors. Why is there a rent notice on the pool? Why did Diane storm out in tears? Ricky showed up that evening, eyes wide. Man, you just hit them where it hurts. She called the mayor. We laughed right until my phone buzzed. My property camera picked up 3 people sneaking around my barn cutting fences. I sprinted outside Ricky right behind me, adrenaline surging. I floored it down the dirt road, dust flying, praying my cows hadn't escaped. We caught the hooded figures just as 2 cows made it through the cut fence. One jumped a ditch, one disappeared into the woods, but the last one tripped. Ricky tackled him. Turned out it was Aaron Mills, Diane's lapdog. His hoodie slipped off, face pale. "You're trespassing and vandalizing," I told him. He babbled, "She just said to scare you, I swear. Ricky growled. Aaron's silence was answer enough. I took photos, called the sheriff. Aaron started begging. He had a family, kids. "She said you were a threat." He gasped. "She lied about the lease. I wasn't interested in revenge yet." We fixed the fence until dawn. Cows shaken but safe. Workshop window busted but no disaster. Next morning, a black SUV rolled up, Diane in her courthouse best, sunglasses on. She didn't get out for a while, then stepped onto the gravel. "You think you're clever," she spat. "I know I am," I said, not even trying to smile. "You had no right to buy that land without informing the board. You had a lease," I said. "It expired. That's not illegal. That's just bad business." She took off her glasses, voice icy. "You'll ruin this community." I shrugged. "Funny you tried to ruin me first." "You don't belong here, Blake. This place needs order, not your rusted tractor and your stinking animals." "Well, my rusted tractor now owns your tennis court," I shot back. She demanded a board meeting that day. I brought my lawyer. Diane sat with the board looking like a principal about to expel me. My lawyer opened the negotiation. As of June 1st, rent triples. Diane called it extortion. He called it market value, county appraised. The board squirmed. Susan, a neutral board member, finally asked Diane, "Why didn't you tell us about the lease?" Diane mumbled she thought it would auto-renew. "You thought wrong," my lawyer replied. He reminded her that taping that notice on my gate could be grounds for a harassment suit. Diane leaned in, voice cold. "This isn't over." She stormed out. Susan met me outside under the dim light. "Some of us want a break from Diane," she admitted, "but we're scared." That's when I thought maybe I don't just kick out the HOA, maybe I help take it back. Before I could say more, there was a crash, then a scream. We ran around the clubhouse. Flames poured from the HOA office. Someone had thrown a firebomb. Susan screamed for 911. I grabbed the fire extinguisher. Ricky brought another. We fought the fire until the department showed up. Minimal damage, but a clear message. This was war. Diane, shaken, stormed up, blaming me. "You provoked this?" she spat. "Actions have consequences," I said. "You wanted a fight, now you've got one." Sheriff Mendes arrived, calm as always, pulled me aside. I told him everything, trespassing, the fire, Aaron's confession, the lease. He listened, jaw tight. "We'll bring Aaron in again, but unless there's hard proof, Diane walks for now. Stay sharp, Matt. This ain't over." Next day, town gossip was wildfire. Is Matt dangerous? Did he start the fire? Even folks who used to wave crossed the street now. Diane sent out another newsletter, fear-mongering talk of outside threats. She was turning the town against me. But help came from Susan. She handed me a folder, emails, fake meeting minutes, proof. Diane hid the lease expiration and buried at the end a $10,000 transfer from HOA funds to Diane's account marked as maintenance. She'd been stealing. Susan whispered, "I believe in this community, Matt. This is your hammer." I was about to go public when Mendes knocked at my door, search warrant in hand. "Got a tip. You're hiding equipment tied to the fire." My stomach dropped. Deputies searched my shop and found a duffel bag. I'd never seen glass bottles, tape, gas can evidence for a Molotov. "It was planted," I said. "Ricky vouched for me." Mendes believed us but had to take the evidence in. By noon, the whole town buzzed. Matt's getting raided. Then I found Susan's folder missing. Someone had broken in. Security footage showed a hooded man, Tyler Wilburn, Diane's son. There he was breaking into my shop. HOA issued a statement planning to seize my land under emergency powers. Ricky kept saying they were bluffing, but people believed them. I realized I had to go public host a town hall, show all the evidence. When the night came, the school gym was packed. I showed Diane's fake citations, the forged minutes, the missing money, and the video of Tyler breaking in. The room went silent. The HOA treasurer stood and called for Diane's removal. As the room erupted, Diane burst in screaming that we'd destroyed everything she'd built. Susan's voice cut through. "Tell us where the $10,000 went." Diane bolted, but Mendes was waiting, cuffs in hand. "You're under arrest for embezzlement and conspiracy." The queen bee had fallen, but as she was let out, she threw one last threat. "My son won't let this go." And she meant it. The next day, Ricky brought me photos, me at my gate at town hall, and one taken from the woods near my porch. "Someone's watching you." That same day, the HOA office was trashed, red spray paint reading, "We're taking it back." Tyler. He'd escalated from vandalism to outright sabotage. That night, my barn burned, arson confirmed. No animals lost, but my granddad's old barn was ashes. Susan rallied the neighborhood. We called an emergency election, public, transparent, and with Diane and Tyler out, a shot at real change. But before the vote, I got a photo, my granddad's gravestone defaced. I nearly broke in half, but Ricky and Susan stood by me. Mendes promised he'd find the culprit, but warned, "This is about pushing you to the edge. Don't give them what they want." Election night, the town hall was packed. We swept the board, neighbors cheered, but Tyler left a bullet and a note on my truck. "Now I take everything from you." He filed a lawsuit alleging fraud, trespassing, and emotional distress. He had a shark lawyer and a grudge the size of Texas. The rumors started again and the pressure mounted. That's when I brought in Claire Rogers, a journalist who dug up everything: purchase records, HOA minutes, Tyler's threats. She wrote a piece that went viral and the tide finally turned. On the day of the court hearing, Tyler and his lawyer strutted in ready to win. But the judge had seen it all: the documents, the confessions, the videos. Motion granted, case dismissed. That evening I stood at my grandfather's grave, clean again, flowers at its base, thinking about what we'd all been through. Ricky joined me with cold sodas, and we toasted to George Blake, to honesty, to a ranch and a town that stood up to bullies. The land was quiet again, the HOA paid their rent, and for now peace had come back to Willow Creek, at least until the next storm. So let me ask you, what's right in a place like this? When does standing up become fighting dirty? And what would you have done in my boots? Let me know in the comments, because I've learned sometimes the only way to keep your home is to never let them take your pride.